White lotus. Hello, hello, everybody. Good evening, bonsoir, whatever the place that you are here right now. I'm excited to be here today. If you don't know my name is Coach Jeanine. I'm so glad to be here today with my friends and my partner today. It's a Coach Jeanette Martin. Welcome, Coach Jeanette. How are you tonight?
I am good. I'm so glad to be here. My smile, my face is hurting because I'm smiling too much already.
Me too. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited because tonight I know everybody who are watching us tonight, they will be here for a good treat for sure. Because I'm just gonna share with the viewers, whatever people, hello from YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, everywhere. Just please stay tuned, share this link so you can be able to be here for a good treat tonight. Because my friends, God Jeanette, we I remember when we connect, we just start talking. It was just a great connection. So from that day until today, we have a lot of good connection and a lot in common. So stay tuned for us. We're gonna be able to introduce Coach Jeanette. She's gonna tell you more about herself, and she's also a leadership project, just like me. So I'm so excited to have her tonight. Welcome, Coach Jeanette.
Thank you so much. And I also want to add, well, hello.
Yes.
Konbanwa or
Oh, hi.
konnichiwa or ohayo
Yes.
gozaimasu. I don't know what time the time zone is right now for Japan. And then
Yes.
ni hao, so hello to everyone in China that's watching this.
Yes.
And I'm so glad to be here. And yes, we connected so well. And I'm glad that we got to do the little chat before we actually started
Yes.
filming this live. And we could have just gone on forever. Um,
Right.
did you want to know kind of, I guess, a little bit more about my background?
Absolutely. Yeah, we will ask you more questions about that.
Okay.
And even before that, we're just going to ask you some couple words so you can tell us what you think, Coach Jeanette.
Yes.
So, for our first word for you, we're gonna ask, what do you hear more when you hear this word preparation? What comes to your mind? Yeah,
a,
preparation.
a lot of work, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of creativity, right? And to prepare yourself to make sure that you are saying the best thing that you can possibly say to somebody, whether it's just to give them information or to help them grow, give them value. And it's a very, very important part of being successful is being prepared, right?
Absolutely. Wow. And I really agree. There's no right or wrong answer, but I like that. That's awesome. Now, our second word, which I think you and I share this a lot, it's
Hmm.
being intentional.
Yes. Yes, it's intentional. Oh my goodness, it's really a powerful word. I mean,
Mhm.
you have to be able to like wake up every day and
Yeah,
want to live your best life, right? And
right.
want to give the best to everybody that you come in contact with, no matter how much emotions can stand in the way sometimes. So, being intentional is so important in your growth, in connecting with other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, being intentional, and that's really also one of the elements for leadership. You
Yes, it
want
is.
to stay, very intentional, especially when you're setting up your goals. And sometimes you can have some head cap. Be able to set up your goal and really be intentional about that. That's the way to go in a leadership. I'm sure you can be able to share that with me and to agree on that as well.
Yes, and intentional, just always kind of think of it as what is your heart telling you?
Yeah.
And if your heart is telling you and your gut is telling you yes or no, but the yes part,
Yes.
that's when you know what you're doing is intentional.
Yes. And also, and sometimes even being intentional, sometimes you have to reevaluate. And I just remember, our conversation earlier, we were
Yes.
just talking about that. We were like, okay, sometimes we were thinking that we're gonna go this direction, and afterward you find yourself somebody else, or just a conversation, you're just steering you this way. You just yeah, thank you. You just think them, but you stay centered because that's not your attention is to stay really grounded. But whatever you feel like a conversation or a person trying to steer you this way, you usually have to refocus and stay intentional, right?
Yes, it's so hard to do, especially with so many different ways of, especially with COVID and having to do a lot of stuff on the internet and having to
Mhm.
learn a whole new way
Yeah,
of reaching out to people and really connecting with people. And you
right.
and I talked about this. You still
Oh,
see a
yeah,
lot of hit and miss, right?
yeah,
You're like, oh, hi, I'd like to connect with you. And then you got sales in your face, right?
yeah,
Like, oh, it's only this much. You need marketing. You really need me, right? And I'm like, no,
yeah.
I don't. I really just wanted to connect with you. So maybe down the road, I
Right.
could refer somebody to you, or at
Yes.
least get to know what your services are. And, maybe
Yeah.
I will need them sometime. But
Right.
yeah, so we still have issues with the connection part.
I can agree with that because to me it's a very tune off. But then I feel like, oh no, that's not where I want to go yet, you know? So to me, I'm really, really glad that we both see kind of the same way. So I'm very glad that especially being intentional, it's really how, you'll be able to portray and your leadership should really show up in everything you're doing. So I'm really glad that, you and I definitely we see the same.
Yes, for
And
sure.
then the third word is teamwork.
Ooh. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's what I just
Yes,
got done telling. I
I
just got
love that. That's a good one. Teamwork
right.
makes dream work.
But this is not just about like what you do at work, right?
Yeah.
Not it's what you do at home, because I actually use that to kind of pep up my brothers, because
Mhm.
we're working on helping my mom with her house project, right? So
Yes.
it's like, okay, well, it can have, teamwork is anywhere. Teamwork is
Mhm.
family, with friends, neighbors, at
Yes.
work. Maybe you just walked into a store and all of a sudden they need help with something, right? And you're going to jump in, right? That's teamwork.
Right.
All that's
Yes.
teamwork. It's so important. And nowadays, like, you can't do everything by yourself. I used to be
Yes.
a all in one, like the what they call it, the cook, the bottle washer, and the waiter, and and the cashier. And I realized that even though we have that knowledge where we can grow ourselves, that is
Yes.
so much work. Like, why
Mhm.
not connect with somebody who
Yes.
has those skills, and
Mhm.
use their services to help you
Right.
grow, because then you can
Mhm.
focus on your content, continue to be intentional, and
Right.
continue to grow and grow others, right?
That's true. That's true. And I'm glad you mentioned it because even in a leadership, if you are just all over the place, or people know you, almost like you are, as a doctor, that you're not supposed to be just a generalist, that you need to specialize, even in leadership. That's very, very key. So I'm glad definitely that's you focusing, you're being intentional again, that word again. So guys,
Yes.
if you just tune in right now, I'm talking to Coach Jeanette Martin, and I would like you really to stay on and really just join us a conversation. Today we are talking about really being intentional, really being know your passion, and really knowing which direction to take for your leadership journey. Because again, we're showing up every night to be able to empower you, to give you strategy, and to definitely make sure that you are on your right path to your leadership too. So thank you for joining us again, and just stay tuned. Another word for you, it will be sacrifice.
Okay, sacrifice. Wow. All of these are such good words. So when you talk about sacrifice, sometimes you can tell people, um, like, I sacrificed that for you, right? And then it kind of sounds like, well, it shouldn't have felt like you sacrificed something, because if it's intentional and it's in
Yeah.
your heart,
Mhm.
it is not a sacrifice. It is just
Right.
part of the journey, right? So
Mhm.
I think sacrifice, when you use sacrifice, you need to really think, are you sacrificing something for something else?
Right.
Because if you're going to pick something, that means that was the path you were supposed to be on. So there was no sacrifice. There was a chapter and a lesson learned and some
Mhm.
growth, but your pivot is still on that journey. So nothing should ever feel like a sacrifice. And if it does, I think maybe you do need to take a few steps back and reevaluate everything again and say, you know, did I really sacrifice something? Because if it was meant to be in your life and meant to be in that
Mhm.
journey, then
Right.
it would still be there, right?
Yes, absolutely. And especially in when we talked about leadership, sacrifices sometimes it really comes as, oh, I have to do that. Well, that's also part of the growth. Like you have to be able to go through some things and be able to benefit almost like you are working up your muscle. And that sacrifice sometimes could be with your time, could be with the different things, different projects or different people that you just put aside. So, well, now, right now, I'm focusing on this being intentional. So, all of those words, it really, so sometimes you feel like, I'm sacrificing this. But just like you said, it shouldn't be felt that way, but it's also part of the process, the growth. So,
And
it's
if
really,
yeah, and if you don't think of it that way, because it's so
mhm,
negative, right?
right,
When you're on a journey, yeah, you're gonna come into some bumpy roads and things, but all that, it should be a learning experience, and all that should be a, a good, like, kind of like the silver lining, right? You shouldn't just think of it like, oh, I can't believe I wasted my time doing that. Well, what did you learn
right.
from it?
What
And
do you
what are
learn
you
from it?
taking from that and moving on with? And
Right,
when you talk about, oh, like you said something about sacrificing your time. So if you're, say, a leader, an upper management in an organization, and
right.
you're saying that you're sacrificing something, if you're truly a leader, you're not sacrificing anything, you're pivoting,
Yeah.
and you're giving that person in your organization an opportunity to grow. So you're
Mm-hmm.
showing your patience, you're showing your leadership skills, you're showing your intentionality, you're letting them be
Yeah.
intentional. And
Right.
you see what I'm saying? Like, sacrifice is such a, it could be such a bad word and such a negative word, because we think of like, oh, I sacrificed all that junk food and I lost 50 pounds. And it's like, but that's actually a positive thing.
That's a
Really,
positive thing.
you didn't
Yeah.
sacrifice anything because it wasn't part of your journey. So if you,
Right.
like, that would be a good mindset to kind of start putting into your mind. So your viewers should say, oh, I didn't think about that sacrifice word.
Yeah.
Am I really giving it up, or am I moving it aside because it's not part of my journey?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that. That's a very good one. And another word, it's process.
Process could be, there's so many different directions process could be.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely need to have a process to
Yeah.
get to where you
Especially
are.
the leadership. Yeah.
Yes. And of course, you're always pivoting again, because
Yes.
depending on the type of personality that you're facing with, the type of, just the challenges that you may be facing with, and it's going to be a
Yeah.
constant change. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the process has got to go with it. You have to be able to tweak that, you know, the the process. I know I keep saying process now because that's the word,
Yeah.
but that process doesn't have to be solid and this is it, this is how it was supposed to be. And if you can't follow in the line, or if you can't figure it out with just this, then that's not leadership, that's
Mm-hmm.
not even learning, that's not even growth.
Yes.
So having a process in place is good,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
having a process of doing things is good, but
Yes.
it's always nice too to get a different take from other people and say, oh, you know what, that could work better if we did it this way. And
Mm-hmm.
then, wow, well, that did work. So that's process. That's what I
Yes.
think about process when I think about process.
I love that. Now, the last word for us for tonight, it's I really like this word, and I think you do too, because both of us we are all about this service.
Service. Wow. Service should be ongoing.
Yes.
It shouldn't be something that you I when I worked with patients,
Mm-hmm.
it was a constant service, whether I was at my desk, or I
Yes.
was walking down the hall, or I was in a training and happened to see somebody. Like, service should never just stop because you move yourself away from, like, your desk or your office, or
Mm-hmm.
there's nobody around, because there's always something you could be doing to give value and service people, whether it's with your kindness or with
Yeah.
something that you know and learned and paying it forward.
Right.
So service is ongoing for me.
I like that. Service is ongoing, and that's really something I would like to end. These words because to me, that really, I always say to anybody around me, even my friends, or even some colleagues, about leadership. To me, it's about service. It's about really showing up and serving your people, serving the tribe, your community, your team. So that's one thing I know that you and I, we really share that, because we
Yes.
always show up for our team. We always show up. And that's something that, Coach Jeanette and myself, we do. We work with, a group of company and people and coaches and other people who just come to us, and we just really work with them and serving. It's really about leadership, showing up. And that's what, most of us, we should really been thinking about. I don't know about you guys on Facebook or YouTube and LinkedIn, really the different, I don't know what meaning that you have around leadership, but to us, leadership is about showing up, serving your people, bringing the results, and really heard your clients and your company are really accountable. Be that person that can be able to come to you, and that, you hold their hand. They said they will do this, and you say, okay, let's go on the journey. So it's really
Yes.
ongoing, just like Coach Jeanette said. Oh,
Yes.
we can take this conversation in different directions. Yeah, go ahead, Coach Jeanette.
I wanted to add something too before I forget it again.
Yes.
But I want people to understand that leadership doesn't come just because you're an upper management, just because you're a manager or you are, titled to lead a group.
Right.
I had to figure out when I was working in a position that it was an important position, but it was also a position that didn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I also worked in the facility that I worked in. You needed to get additional education or change your career or whatever to grow and get a higher paycheck, basically. And I thought, this is not, I don't want to just do something because I want more money. Like, my passion was in still helping people. And
Yeah.
so I had to think of, what can I do in the position that I'm in now that grows leadership, that builds value. And I started really studying leadership and like conflict management, about
Yes.
change, and
Mm-hmm.
realized that the little things that I was doing that maybe were little to me because I was doing it so often was actually something that meant so much more to the people I was helping, right?
Right.
And just, take the time to recognize whether you're working in a fast food restaurant or you're working in, if you're working in a, professional office as, even as a secretary. You may not think that that is your dream job or
Mm-hmm.
but there's so many things that you can do to utilize leadership skills and to just grow connections and grow,
Right.
you're you're helping you're helping way more than you realize that you're helping. Just
Yeah.
take the time to sit back and like kind of meditate and say, okay, what are the things that I'm doing in my position now that is helping others, that is growing value, that I'm doing on a daily basis? Whether it's showing somebody where the bathroom is. I'm not kidding. You think you maybe
Yeah.
like some people are thinking it's funny, but how many people come in and like, if they're sick to their stomach, I mean, and you need to show them how the bathroom is, like,
Yeah.
you could just sit there and ignore them, right? Or you can care and be
Yeah.
intentional and
Mm-hmm.
say, are you okay? Do you need to, do you need to use the bathroom? Do you need a drink? Anytime you're doing that, it's still part of growing leadership. That's still part of using your leadership skills.
Right.
And I really want to instill that in people, that you are important, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and to me, that's really empowerment. So again, we're just
Yes.
gonna segue to that. So, Coach Jeanette, tell really us about your journey to leadership. How did you find out that you were really a leader? How did you, really came about showing up for your people? How did you start that journey? If you could just talk to us about that, and really, you can go into your business as well to tell us more about that.
Okay. Well, you heard some of my journey about working in
Yeah.
a place that I could not move up, get promoted unless somebody, retired or quit or took another job, and then, 40 people would be trying to fight for the same job, and I had to do something. I had to fix something. I had to take away that negativity. So I learned what leadership meant. I learned that the skills that I had already and that I was, you know, giving to people, the value I was giving to people and servicing others was leadership. And
Mhm.
that made me feel better about what I was doing, and then to instill that and see how it grew my employees, my coworkers, um, just seeing that they were going and doing that extra 1% to help the customer, right? That was, oh, it just filled my heart. Before that, I was in a lot of positions where leadership was very poor, very like, you know, and you want someone to be transparent with you. You want somebody to be open, like you and I. We just got on the
Oh,
phone and we were like, oh my gosh, I just like,
yeah.
and you need to be that, whether you're a
Mm-hmm.
coworker or whether you're
Right.
in upper management. You need to
Mhm.
be, you know, you need to be kind. You need to have like, hey, I'm here for you. Let's
Right.
talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still have boundaries. Nobody said you couldn't have boundaries.
Right.
But just going through, having jobs that people were so focused on the corporate, the sales and the corporate, this is what you need to do, and it didn't have anything to do with customer service. It didn't have anything to do with taking care of people. And
Right.
it should have been. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. And I wanted to do right by the people who were, paying for the services and being honest with them, because, it was important. And I just over the years of lack of, like I said, leadership, people actually who are in management and
Mm-hmm.
could talk to you like a human being and guide you and coach you, rather than just point fingers and talk to you like you were nothing, right? Nobody deserves that. And
Right.
respect is a huge thing for me. I'm not going to just show up into a room and just start being rude to everybody or start demanding things. I wouldn't want
Right.
that done to me. And,
Mm-hmm.
when you're in grade school, I don't know what you learned in grade school, but I know one of the things that sticks in my mind as I am like 8 years old now, um, is treat others the way you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Such a simple concept, but it means so much.
Right.
And people forget that. And I got tired of people forgetting that. So it made me want to do it more. Even if I saw a conflict that wasn't going right, I wanted to be the person to de escalate. I wanted to be the person to correct the wrong and make it right. And that's why I just got so much more into leadership and wanting to get others to connect and get others to be on the same page and really listen to what is being said. I've watched people in meetings. Somebody, the management comes in and says, okay, you have an option, right? We can do this, what the upper management wants us to do, or we can do whatever suggestions you may have. And just to see how people take that information and one becomes a victim, another one becomes angry, another one
Mm-hmm.
gets defensive about something else, and it's like,
Right.
wow, like this actually happens, like,
Yeah.
and then being the person who watches everything and then says, you know what, this can be done. I mean, she's giving you an opportunity to grow and to put your 2 cents in and to make it a change that's beneficial to us and to our customers. And just to see that people are so different in responding to stuff like that, again, made me want to do more leadership growth,
Right.
wanted more connection growth, and
Yeah.
wanted to pay that forward. And so that's why I'm so huge on doing the organizational leadership. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I am a singer and a songwriter, and
Oh.
yes, and I spent a lot of my years
Right.
singing and sending a message that way and connecting with people that way.
That's
And
good.
now I'm pivoting, change
Yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
doing more motivational speaking, inspirational speaking with, for leadership. And
Mm-hmm.
just to, nowadays it's so much more acceptable for us to have, even if it's a bad story, right? To talk about what happened and how we
Mm-hmm.
triumphed. That's how you inspire people.
Yeah.
But also I still want to sing to people. I still want
Yeah.
them to run through the crowd and say, "Oh my gosh, how did you write that song about me?" Like that's my life. And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't even know you, But I connected with that person.
That's
And
right.
yeah, and people, I really feel that people need to start doing that again, like instead of making like LinkedIn and Facebook just this massive like marketing, like in your face thing, like connect, actually connect
Yeah,
with people. I know you want to make a sale, but you know what?
right.
You're going to make that sale. You just got to
Yeah,
connect with me and like,
that's right.
yeah, and
But see,
be
I'm
patient.
glad you say that because most of the people, and that's really what I call and you do too, empowerment. So show up and empower them. They will definitely, want to work with you, So,
Yes.
and that's really the mindset. I would definitely say that leadership, what you just have to really showing the people the value, what you bringing them, how are you going to support them, really, hold them accountable and be able to be there to just on the journey because everybody has they special in their own way and
Hmm.
when once you realize the skills the you value what they really want to do and you support them in whatever they going to appreciate you and they're going to work with you so us and coach Jeanette and I we're not looking for start really selling you no we definitely we like to bring value and that's really a good way of leadership guys so when you're listening to us we're just dropping this small nuggets because we have another webinar coming up in December where we're going to really pour our hearts to you guys but
Yeah.
today it's just a little nugget because we only have like a few minutes left but to us it's really about that empowering you where you are and how we're going to be able to hold you accountable so coach Jeanette tell us more about what next for you and how can people can be able to reach to you directly I mean they can always come to me and I'm gonna
Yes.
direct it to you but definitely just please tell us your social media links and everything else so they can be able to be in touch with you.
Okay, so I am on LinkedIn, and that's where I do most of my content and my posts, my inspirational posts. And I do stuff on Facebook too. If you want to see more of the personal side of me, like when I go to the
Mhm.
gym and I'm sweating, and that's still connecting, right? When we
Yeah.
all have been there.
Mhm.
So you can go onto LinkedIn under Janet R. Martin, and the
Mhm.
same with Facebook is and Instagram is Aspire to Inspire. So aspire with the number 2 and then inspire. And I think you have to put a J at the end because
Okay.
I needed to have that J. But you'll be able
Mhm.
to find me under my name or the aspire, the number 2, inspire J. And I am right now, I am looking for speaking engagements. I'm looking for
Mhm.
people who have webinars like this and podcasts. I would love
Mhm.
to come along and bring value to your
Mhm.
viewers and your listeners. And I am also looking for organizations that would love for me to come out and do a half day workshop or
Yes.
do some mentoring for their team, or whether it's just their leadership, their upper management, or the whole group of employees, because I think value and leadership growth needs to happen at all levels in an organization. And so just contact me if you need me. All my information, like I said, is on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and I do some TikToks sometimes. So
Awesome.
those are fun.
Yeah, those are fun. Awesome. Especially as a singer too. That's a good place. That's a good platform. Well, thank you guys. Follow Coach Janet.
Thank
Definitely you
you.
won't regret. I tell you, since I've met her, we just been, back and forth engaging, really connect. We have so many things in common, and I can't wait for you guys to reveal what's really gonna be coming. We have a webinar coming. We're gonna be writing together some very good article in our
Yes.
magazine coming up. So a lot of collaboration that we're gonna be doing because she's really about leadership and she's gonna show up for you guys. So stay tuned. Thank you again so much, Coach Jeanette. That was
Thank you so
awesome.
much. Mwah!
Absolutely. Thank you. And guys, she's a global. She's connected. That one of the things that I really also I like about her. So she also have the same not the same background, but similar. background too. She loved connecting with different culture. She
Yes.
herself to, another day, even on the magazine coming up, she's gonna tell her story, her background in really an immigrant woman who doing amazing and her, her journey. So you just stay tuned. You're gonna listen to the great story that's coming through her. I can't wait for her to share her story in our magazine, which it's called Umoja Mag. So we're gonna be able to tell story and bringing on really experts and consultants and leaders who are going to change your life as well. So
Oh,
thank you
yes.
so much again, Coach Jeanette.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And again, if you did not, or you were not here in the beginning, please just go back to the replay so you can be able to listen to this show today. Was really about leadership, showing up, and like we always come and give you some nuggets. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.